And what could have been looked at as arguably the worst year of professional wrestling in the Paul Levesque era, you would think WWE would come out firing at all cylinders in 2025. No, instead we get a 3-hour SmackDown that's headlined by only really the return of one indie god, Mr. Always Ready himself, Matt Cardona. Not only that, we get what is arguably, potentially, 2026 kicked off with the lamest Raw in a long time, especially a Raw that is celebrating the second year of Netflix. So that's 2 years in a row, WWE has given us complete garbage to kick off their Netflix era, as well as, just you have a crossover with one of the biggest properties in the world right now, Stranger Things, and it's one of the lamest, lowest effort, just dumpster fires.
It went upside down really quick and didn't turn back up.
It was shined up real nice, turned sideways, and stuck right up some fat guy in the front row's ass.
Yes,
what that show was.
You know what?
You would think that in an era that was potentially held down, a year that was, you could argue, was held back because of the John Cena retirement, off the heels on some of the greatest professional wrestling, 2 years of professional wrestling WWE or any company has given us, with the Bloodline, Cody's story, finally finishing all that. You could keep that momentum going, but is it just that this WWE creative, as we said before, is out of ideas and on life support? I thought we were going to start and hoped we were going to start 2026 with a banger show talking about WWE is back. Doesn't seem to be the case.
Well,
we are starting the 2026 era of Paul Levesque with limp dick syndrome.
Okay, I'm going to give you a synopsis on this Netflix Raw. If it was later on in the year, if it was like the when they get the summer where you get the downtime and this and that, and you can throw a good product out there just to put a product out there, this show would have been good for like later on in the year, more towards the summertime. Not a show that was supposed to be promoted as the 1 year anniversary of Netflix purchasing the rights to WWE and Raw, and having a card the way they had, having a tag team championship, having a championship match to end the night, and to have all the other little goodies that go along with it. What you did get was, what the hell was that tampon that frigging CM Punk had coming out? That black tampon. What the hell was that shoe that randomly came out of nowhere?
Well, so that was his shoe. It blew apart.
Wait.
And it was still on the top of his foot.
What the hell was that sorry case of a tombstone, a power driver, that he gave? What the hell was Braun Breaker thinking when he messed up on his move running up to the top rope?
Frankensteiner.
There was a lot of botches. And I'm going to tell you this, all kidding aside, the best match on that night was the Liv Morgan and Lyra Valkyria match. It started off a little slow. I know she was a little. I think she had some butterflies, a little stiff because she hasn't performed. But as the match went on, she got better, and that turned out to be the best match of the night when it comes to the matches on the show. Liv Morgan coming back, but you have a main event. Look, I knew CM Punk was going to keep the belt. I told you I didn't think that this guy was going to win because you had 2 championship turnovers. If you only had one, then the night would have turned over. Then you would have probably had a new champion crowned in Braun Breaker. But since you had the tag team championships that went, and then you had a change of hands with what was the other championship guy? I forgot because
women's tag team champion.
The tag team, and then what's the other one? I'm sorry.
The other one was the Intercontinental Champion with Maxine.
Yeah,
I'm going to do a sit-down backbreaker Dupree that Becky did not sell. It was not Maxine's fault.
It
was Becky's fault.
I'm gonna tell you this. That was the most quietest Brooklyn crowd in the history of Raw, in the history of freaking wrestling, I think, because I have never heard the crowd that silent when it came to things. Yeah, I'm sorry, Maxine Dupree. She tried. She wasn't selling the fact that she was champion, and she definitely. I felt bad for her, but AJ Lee is going to get it, part-time win it, and then she's going to end up giving it to somebody that's going to deserve it down the road. You know, I'm tired. Look, call it Royal Rumble. Braun Breaker's winning the Royal Rumble, regardless of the fact he's going to win the Royal Rumble because he's going to win the championship in WrestleMania. That's they're going to give him the championship in WrestleMania. Roman Reigns, please, no. You can't win the Royal Rumble. You can't hold hostage to freaking when you want to be on the show. You got to be there every week. I'm tired of these part-time wrestlers coming up on the show, then disappearing for months at a time, coming back, and then hindering the story plot lines of what potentially could be done. And you know what? I can't blame Triple H on a lot of things that are going on because you got part-time wrestlers that they're holding up the story. They're holding hostage, and they can't. You know,
but he's allowing that though. He's allowing them to do that.
But wasn't there a time where they said part-time wrestlers?
That's where he gets.
Triple H is 100% to blame. He is the
really?
chief content brand officer of WWE. That is his title as COO. He is the head of creative. It is 100% his fault. He signs off on the storylines. He signs off on the scripts. He puts the shows together. He works with Road Dogg for SmackDown. He's there at every show. It is 100% his fault. I don't blame the talent. I don't blame part-timers, nothing. It's the writers. It's the storyline. It's the poor execution. It is Triple H's fault.
Okay. All right. It's his fault. All right. But, you know, let me ask you a question now. Gunther's going to fight AJ Styles this week coming up. Is this just the beginning? It's going to probably end in a no contest to really build this story up because he's going to retire AJ Styles. So you can't have Gunther beating AJ Styles or have AJ Styles beating Gunther to burn the momentum from what he has. So it has to end in a no contest.
They've already killed Gunther's momentum. Gunther's momentum's dead.
I know.
The last 3 weeks, ever since he's beaten John Cena, what has he done? He's come out, said, I make John Cena tap out like a bitch,
and laughs.
Gets booed out of the building, laughs, and leaves. This week, Brooklyn didn't care. Nobody cared. The boos are getting low, getting less noticeable. The level of care is getting less noticeable. Nobody cares anymore because all Gunther is doing is coming out, doing this, calling John Cena a bitch, and leaving.
So you have that. And then the anticipation for Jericho that they were talking about, breaking the walls down, throwing the Easter eggs out there, doing stuff like that for Jericho, which he's coming back in Royal Rumble. That's where he's coming back. Look.
Yeah, I don't think he was talking about Jericho when he said something about I think he was talking about the stupid Stranger Things bullcrap that we got.
But. I know, but Easter eggs, when you throw Easter eggs out there, certain things, like, it's just one of those things where people are expecting a little too much and quick, and you got to understand the fans. Look, us as fans, we're frustrated because the storylines lack and they suck. And I know they have to make new wrestlers, and I see that they're trying to have new people come in and have new fights, new feuds. But you got to have a balance when it comes to certain things. You just can't throw new people out there and try to expect the story and try to pop, that it's going to happen 1, 2, 3. You got to integrate them in the storyline that it's a slow burn to build up. Like Maxine Dupree. All right, they're going to feel bad for she lost the belt. And she's going to come back. That belt made her kind of a star now. She'll come out and she'll do a thing. And eventually she'll win the...
You think that belt made her a star? Because there was, thousands of people in Brooklyn that I think disagree with you.
I know, but you know what? It's going to be refreshing when it's in freaking UK and Germany now, because those crowds, the international crowds, are the best crowds going when you have wrestling, and you're going to hear it. You're going to hear SmackDown. You're going to hear SmackDown, the crowd, how it gets to SmackDown. And then Monday, Raw, you're going to hear the crowd.
PM.
And that's the thing. It's just It's unfortunate that everything it sucks. The way it's written and the way it's put down on paper and put out there. Look, you're bringing back people. You got some people that came back. You're bringing up the signees from NXT, the newbies. Jordynne Grace is on her way up. Freaking you have Trick Williams now up. You got Yvonne Evans signed with Raw, which he signed the Raw on a commercial break. Where was that?
Talk about the utter disrespect. Not only did he sign on a commercial break, he signed his Raw contract on a folder with the old Raw logo on it. The proper design team couldn't even be considered enough or take enough time to get the proper Raw logo on the folder that he's signing his contract in.
I'm sorry. I just this curled milk inside this coffee was no good. Oh God. Yeah. Never have chunks of coffee.
Yuck.
All right, whatever. I just drank it, so whatever happens, happens. You're right. That was a total disrespect. You would want to see that. You would want to see that on TV. Him signing that they got to get Yvonne Evans signed contract to be on Raw, which that's a great thing. You need more high flyers, and he's going to work good with the likes of El Grande Americano, Dragon Lee, and all these guys. It's going to be perfect. But the fact is not to show that when you're watching the show. And
but that's my whole thing is that we're coming into 2026. It's a new year. It's a relaunch of, what they could be. And with the Netflix stuff, your 1 year anniversary on Netflix, I'm expecting a good show that's going to set the tone for the remainder of the year. And all we did would carry over storylines that have been going for the last 6 months that have been played out. Mm-hmm. I don't care. All you're doing is interchanging. You're just interchanging people facing off against the Vision. And I'll be honest with you, I'm tired of the Vision. I think adding Austin Theory to the Vision has hurt that group, and it's only been 3 weeks. Logan Paul seems less interesting now. Braun Breaker seems less interesting. Bronson Reed seems less interesting. And Austin Theory's just been straight up.
They haven't done anything.
Right. And Austin Theory's just been straight up boring.
Because the story...
He's just kind of there.
The story is not there. Listen, they're waiting for Seth Rollins to come back to build the story up, then the story really starts pumping. And look...
They can't afford to do that because he ain't coming back till WrestleMania.
Well, we'll see what happens with that. But the whole fact is what they should do is, like I said, you really should have another masked man come out and attack the Vision. And now you try to figure out who the hell that is. And you're going on. And maybe it turns out to be Ricky Saints. Because something's got to give. You got to pump some energy into the friggin' into the storyline. You know what storyline's better than the friggin' the Vision storyline? The MFT. Fucking goddamn Solo. That storyline is better than what they're doing with the Vision. Even though, because you know what?
We're clearly not watching the same show.
Well, I'll be honest. What's the top?
I think maybe I need some of that curdled milk coffee that you're drinking there to really boost my spirits and how I see these shows, because we're clearly not watching the same product.
Shane Nakamura of Slow Style. He was telling this dude, listen, he goes, stop being a follower and learn your potential. So the seeds have been in place for the breakup of the MFTs, which is going to be eventually. So that's going to be pretty cool. And
where has Jeff Cobb been?
Exactly. Where is
one of the biggest indie stars you put him with the NFT and bury him.
Listen, I feel bad for Matt. Matt's going to fucking be lost in the shuffle. I disagree.
If Triple H is smart, which I'm hoping, by God, he is, you make Matt Cardona the face of SmackDown. You take everything he's built on the indie circuit as the indie god, and you let him do that on SmackDown. You give him SmackDown.
Did you watch the interview? He said that the night that he got called up to come on SmackDown, he did SmackDown. They called him that night and asked him, "We're interested in having you full time. You want to sign a contract?" So he went and he signed the night that he was on when he lost to the John Cena Battle Royal Open Challenge thing, the tournament. They called him that night, and they sat down and discussed a contract. So look, let's put it this way. Matt Cardona is definitely going to be on because Chelsea Green is now going to move on to bigger, better things. She's going to start going for championship gold now. You know, she lost the belt. That's the reason why she lost the belt to Julia. They wanted to reset the mistake they did with Julia before. This is what I've been reading, that they want to make Julia, they're going to pump up Julia and make her a bigger star. What it is. And look, which makes me laugh. There is so many women in the back that can challenge for the damn belt. And you choose not to friggin' use the women.
They're not any good, Dom. That's the problem. They're not main roster caliber. You brought up Lash Legend. She's killing it. Lash Legend is killing it. B-Fab was brought up as a valet. She was brought up for nothing more as a valet with what was the group that she was with Swerve Strickland and Top Dollar.
Top Dollar. It was freaking Money. Was it what the hell is it called?
But she was with them, and then they all got shit canned.
And then she became the manager of the Street Profits.
Right.
Where are the Street Profits?
Who knows? But you know, she's a valet. I don't know what God bless them. They're trying to make her a wrestler, but that's the whole reason Maxine Dupree is getting a push because there's nobody.
But it's ridiculous how you have nobody. You don't have the likes of freaking goddamn like that's what I'm trying to say. You want to make two different brands, have SmackDown and Raw. You should have all the women rotating and having forget the tag team championship tag team with the girls. You know, the only reason why they put the belts on friggin' on Io Sky and Rhea Ripley was because they didn't want them in the championship picture. Now they're gonna have somebody new go for the championships. You know, so this is they want to do it. Now they're talking about bringing up Monroe up from SmackDown, and what's the name? The other girl, what's the name? That's the champion now.
Well, yeah, that's their response is, you know, a few weeks ago we had a report where they weren't bringing any new talent up.
Yep.
And I think Triple H took a look around and was like, oh, fuck, we have to. We have to do so. We have to bring talent up. He saw the response that Oba Femi got on Saturday Night Main Event, that Javon Evans got on Saturday Night Main Event, and they're like, oh, we've got to bring up talent. So, yeah, you've got the names of, like, that's why Blake Monroe was kicked out of the building on Tuesday. They're talking about her being called up to SmackDown. They called up Jordynne Grace to SmackDown. Sol Ruka is apparently coming up to SmackDown.
Yeah, so we're gonna Oba Femi freaking put the belt down and freaking got rid of the belt.
Yeah,
him and Asuka. I mean,
2 weeks or 3 weeks of vignettes for Oba Femi. He just wins, sets the belt down, and now he's coming to Raw of all places. You would think he'd go to SmackDown?
Yeah, actually, Raw. They use him in Raw, which would be good against Division, good against friggin' Gunther. So you have some good muscle out there. But my thing is that you're going to deplete NXT, which yes, you should. And I think where is my boy Ethan Page? Why didn't he come up? Well, he might come up now because after the challenge he has that's coming up for the North American Championship, he's going to lose it, and they got to bring him up. Bring him up. Just bring up everybody. Bring friggin' Anthony, the family. Bring up all these guys.
I'm going to say something to you that might piss you off, but I'm starting to kind of feel like Ethan Page might be the Miz of NXT, where Ethan Page is kind of that measuring stick for newcomers to see how they stack up, because that's pretty much what the Miz has become, is nothing more than a measuring stick for new talent. So I'm expecting a Trick Williams Miz feud. I'm expecting, who knows? But I'm just...
That sucks, man. But like I said, my thing is you're bringing them up. Now use these people. Use these people, and don't forget the people that the regular ones that are there too. Interact them together. Have interactions. Make things happen. And I don't know. Maybe creative and Triple H is sitting there going, we messed up. We messed up a lot. And now they're looking at the response they got in Brooklyn with Raw, and he's like, you know what? We got to change. We got to make things happen. After Raw reset, after Raw Rumble, the road to WrestleMania, and try to make the best thing we can. And listen, I don't want to see Cody Rhodes versus freaking Roman Reigns. I don't want to see that. Don't want to see that.
No.
Listen, you want to make a statement? You want to make a statement? McIntyre wins the belt tomorrow. He wins the belt tomorrow. That's how you make a statement.
Why? So you're going to embarrass him so he can be a part-time or hold the belt for 3 weeks and then just lose it to Randy Orton?
No, I think Randy Orton is going to get a chance, but not now. I think Randy Orton's going to probably, after WrestleMania.
He already threw it out there. He said, I don't care who wins between you and Drew McIntyre. I'm coming for the belt next. So Randy's up next. So we're talking Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, but not eliminate. He's not going to lose the belt in Elimination Chamber.
You're going to have Randy beat him in Elimination
Randy
Chamber,
Orton's
carry the belt into WrestleMania.
Chamber. Look, Randy Orton's going to win the Elimination Chamber, get the opportunity for the belt, and freaking Braun Breaker's going to freaking win the Royal Rumble to win the belt off of CM Punk. There's your winners right there, and that done.
After what I saw on Monday night, no. After what I saw on Monday night, I don't want Braun Breaker winning. Braun Breaker doesn't need to win the Royal Rumble right now. He can't even do his own finisher move without landing on his head. Punk had to grab the top rope to sell it to make it look like he blocked that move. Dude, you couldn't even rotate enough not to. That's twice now in a matter of 2 weeks. This dude has landed on his dome piece.
All right, you know what? I'm going to tell you this. Sure. I know that freaking Rollins ain't coming back anytime soon, but it would have been nice to freaking have Rollins come out, stomp him, get him out, and then you get him off the picture of CM Punk for the time being, and you have him start the feud with Seth Rollins down the road. Because at the end of the day, freaking Punk looked a little slow, fell on his face a couple of times, had a tampon coming out of his ass, a freaking a shoe that broke off his thing, freaking the lamest freaking power driver ever. Everything that he did, you need to change the directive of what was going on.
See, I think I may be completely wrong on this. I think the pile driver was a play. I think he was playing it safe because I don't think he knew if Braun Breaker had a concussion or not after landing on his head. So Punk pulled up on the pile driver because the spot was called, and he pulled up on the pile driver to protect
I understand. Okay, you know what? You're right about that. I understand that. But go figure. The one that was under protocol was CM Punk for landing on his face. He was under the protocol of concussion for landing on his damn face. And I'll tell you what. You know what? When freaking Braun Breaker jumped off the top onto the table and CM Punk, that man's dead. Dude, that was... you see Punk look like he freaking the way he got hit. But I understand that he was trying to sell it, but it was kind of sloppy. It was kind of slow, and that was with everything. Even the tag team match, freaking Oscar and freaking Oscar could be Warriors against freaking Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. A little slow pace. It wasn't the fast pace. It played it safe. Everything was played safe on Monday night. If you really think of it,
right?
And they have to sit back and saying, and they know they feel the heat. The fans are freaking goddamn roasting them every freaking chance they get. This is not what we want. We want some stuff we want some action-packed storylines. We want some good feuds. And yeah, the vision is not being used properly. I said that the Wyatts, you destroyed the Wyatts. The Wyatts are really nothing of an afterthought now. The Wyatts would have been great if they went back and forth. If they came out and caused chaos, with both brands, instead of having them on one brand. I'm with you, Matt, in a lot of ways, but at the same time, I have to sit back and accept the faith of certain things because it's not in my control. I would like to see other things happen, but they're making money. They're playing it safe. It's like every corporation. Lucasfilm under Disney, Star Wars. I deal with that. Storylines are lame. They don't know how to build up character. All these things, and this is what's happening in wrestling too. That the characters aren't the characters you really want to see. They're not pushing them the way they should be pushed. Storyline, the directive, it's direction. It's not going with it. They need some blood in there that can actually write and not AI stuff.
Well, where is black and gold Triple H? That's what I want. You have one of the best performances and best feuds in Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano and NXT. Yep. You call them up to the main roster, you put them back in DIY, and you do nothing with them to the point where Ciampa's contract is up and he's saying, I'm walking. I'm not re-signing. I'm walking. He's leaving the company. You're letting one of your best workers in NXT get called up to the main roster, and now you're walking away. Where's Black and Gold Triple H? Where's that excitement? Where's that fire he brought in? Where Triple H has somehow I'm not even going to call him Paul Levesque has somehow transformed and regressed to 20 teens Vince McMahon, where we're getting same match after same match after same match after same match after same finish after same finish after same finish, week after week after week after week. And I'm going to go on a limb here. I'm going to call a spade, okay? And really, we talked a lot last year about, and this is the last time on this show I want to talk about this crap, because I feel like we've talked about it ad nauseum, but we talked a lot last year about the price of admission, the price of tickets. Yes. I'm starting to blame us as the wrestling fan now. If you're willing to sit here and say what we were given on Monday night is okay. It was an okay show. It wasn't as bad as you think it is, Matt. It was an okay show. You're a part of the problem because they're giving you mediocre shit and asking you to play flame and yawn prices for it. They're giving you dog food and asking you to pay caviar prices for it. And we as wrestling fans are allowing that to happen because we're, instead of sitting here and calling out and saying, no, we need better, we're sitting here saying, you know, okay is fine. Lukewarm is fine. What we got is fine. Maxine Dupree versus Becky Lynch 96 is fine. No, there used to be substance to this, man. There was substance to having a multi-feud or match feud. Let me throw an instance for you. We are working AJ Styles versus Gunther right now, right? That's where we're heading, right?
Right.
What if we have AJ Styles lose? He loses to Gunther. Comes back and says, man, I know I can beat him. Gets a second match. Cool. Then the third match comes and AJ Styles says, you know what, Gunther? I know I can beat you, but if I can't, I'm done. I retire. And that's how we get Gunther retiring AJ Styles as well. AJ Styles doesn't need to parade out here talking about his retirement anymore. He doesn't need to have a whole Cena year-long thing.
John Cena is not a big thing, but I tell you what, it's not going to end that way. It's going to end in it's going to be both going to get disqualified. You count out, and that's how it's going to build up to his retirement. That's how it's going to be. So they're going to build up the anticipation. And look, you're right. You could have AJ Styles come out 3 matches against Gunther, but that doesn't do anything for Gunther's character. You have him fight the same dude over and over again. Gunther should be in the back, pounding his chest. You know what? I retired John Cena. I'm the man here. You know what? You right there. I could take you any night. I could take any night. Start feuds with everybody in the back. And you just freaking you have Gunther win. You have to win the matches. And you have some people come close and win. And Gunther's like, I'm unstoppable. You build a monster out of Gunther. You make him, the top of the food chain of heels in the back. Even the heels, like, you know what, Gunther, man? You know what? I'm going to take you out. They can't take him out. You just build his character up. You're making him an unstoppable force. And then finally you find that one dude that puts him in his place. And that one dude freaking goddamn takes him out and goes, yeah, I took you off the top of the food chain. What you going to do about it? And then you have more. And you just build the story up. You make Gunther like an unstoppable force, and you find that one person to take him down. It gets boring because, like I said, the last 3 weeks, he did nothing. He retired John Cena, and he didn't fight for the last 3 weeks. You got to have him keep fighting. No matter who it is, even if it's squash matches against friggin' the lamest dude in the back, or a match against a good contender. I hate that you walk around for 3 weeks, not have a match, and then a pay-per-view comes on, then you're going to have a match. Or you wait 5 weeks later to have a match. These guys should be going at it every friggin' week. You know, I understand you want to give rest to people, this and that. How much more rest can you give Gunther? He was out for friggin' for a couple of months with his surgery. Comes back. He retires John Cena. He fights in the tournament. All right, he retires John Cena. Now all of a sudden he's had another 3 weeks off.
There's just no natural progression anymore to these feuds.
No.
You're getting a natural progression in the Drew McIntyre, Cody Rhodes feud, but the feud is better than the matches have been.
Yeah.
And now, after what Drew McIntyre did on Friday with burning the picture of Cody's dad, you need to elevate. And I'm sorry, I was excited by the announcement of the 3 Stages of Hell match, but your 3 stages are absolutely ridiculous. A classic wrestling match, a street fight, right? Or a false count anywhere. Yeah. What was the third one?
The third one was it a steel cage?
No, I don't think so.
No. But I'll tell you this. I'm gonna give you one about this. I'm gonna tell you that people talk about the Jacob Fatu thing, that he's gonna come back and interfere, this and that. I'll give you one better. How about Nick Aldis is the one that makes Cody lose? Nick Aldis is the one that actually.
Oh yeah, it was. So it's a standard wrestling match, false count anywhere match, and an old school steel cage match. Yeah. Dude, it needs to be Hell in a Cell. Yeah. This feud screams for Hell in a Cell.
And and now if Cody wins and friggin' McIntyre loses again, he's done. You can't have a heel and a guy that comes out with all that passion and conviction and you don't make him win. He's got to win to elevate that character more. So either Nick Aldis friggin' is the one that betrays Cody and makes him lose, or Jacob Fatu comes out and attacks Cody Rhodes because Cody Rhodes was the one that attacked him in the back. You got to make the story interesting. When Cody won the belt and Kevin Owens started going after Cody because he tag teamed with friggin' Roman Reigns and everybody else, Seth Rollins and all these guys that helped him out, they kind of blew the they freaking blew a chance of having an awesome friggin' story transpire from that. And they didn't follow through. They mentioned it. You had Cody. Eventually Seth Rollins became bad. Meanwhile, he's still good, which makes no sense. That he became the heel, but you had a good storyline going for everybody that Cody counted on to help him are now going after him because he kind of betrayed all of them by slapping them in the face, by teaming up with his enemy, Roman Reigns. And
right.
So you have Cody Rhodes is like, yeah, he's a good champion, but he's lame now. I don't want to see Cody Rhodes champion anymore. Don't.
He's only lame because the feuds he's in are booked poorly. Booked poorly. The feud everybody wants, him versus Randy, we're not getting. How many times is Randy Orton going to show up, look at the belt, leave for 6 months? Show up, look at the belt, leave for 6 months. Show up, look at the belt, leave for 6 months. When are we going to get this? When are we going to get this? When are we getting it? It needs to happen now. They're not putting the belt on Drew McIntyre. If they do, it's going to literally be for a month, and then he's going to drop it to Randy Orton, and they'll do Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania. It's just not. I don't see Drew McIntyre winning this title. I just don't.
Dude, listen. Sometimes you don't need a belt to make a good match. Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton without championship on the line could be a good match.
No, at this point, it has to have the championship.
Yeah,
that is a match that absolutely has to have
carrying the belt around. Give it to McIntyre. Make it freaking interesting.
Cody doesn't have to win. Cody doesn't have to be champion. But I mean, weigh in here, Sticks. I feel like at this point, Cody versus Randy needs the WWE championship. It needs it. Otherwise, it means nothing.
Randy definitely needs to do something more than what he's been doing. They need to work him into these storylines somehow, right? Like you said, him showing up, and he's not doing anything. He's just showing up. He's showing up. He's progressing for the fans, and then he's going back into the back. Why isn't he wrestling? He can't be injured. It's been 8 months since he left with an injury. having him go with Cody, or even have him go against Drew again, have him do something. Put him with the belt at some point, probably. I don't think it's right now, though.
Do you think that a Cody versus Randy match needs the belt to make it feel important?
No, I don't think it does.
You don't.
I think the second time it does, not the first time.
Cody versus Randy has no substance to it without the WWE Championship. It might as well just be another wrestling match. That I think the championship adds to that match. It adds that little on the top that you need that for their evolution of characters.
I think you can use it as a springboard to, hey, Cody comes in. I'll give you an open match, no title, right? And in that match, you get Cody to turn, or not Cody, but you get Randy to step up his game, and whereas he takes out Cody handily, and Cody's like, no, that's not going to end like this. And Randy's like, I now know I can beat you to take that title, and comes after for the title.
Tell me, if Cody isn't champion, if Drew McIntyre is champion, and Drew McIntyre wins tomorrow night, and he's champion, what interest do you have in Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton? Why would you be interested in that match? What
McIntyre is champion?
Yeah, if Cody Rhodes loses his championship, what story is there and reason for Cody versus Randy?
I see where you're saying. If he doesn't, yes. If he loses the belt, that whole situation kind of moves off because there's nothing for Randy to come in for.
So then you're agreeing with me that that the WWE Championship is needed in a feud between Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton.
In a feud, not in a match. I thought you were talking match.
No,
I'm saying feud. If you're talking feud, yes, you definitely need the belt in the feud.
If you're going to have a reason for Cody and Randy to wrestle each other, the WWE Championship has to be at the center of it.
There has to be a ring at the end of that, something to gain at the end of the feud.
Look, this is my thing. The championship means a lot. Yes, it does. But to have a good match doesn't need the championship. I understand, Cody needs a championship for Randy to make it work, this and that. But they missed the mark, dude. They missed the mark. They took forever for this damn feud to happen. They took forever to make this happen. You can't go on and have these different feuds with people and McIntyre all this friggin' time. Make McIntyre lose again. McIntyre, then it's going to be every time you see McIntyre go after somebody else, it's like, he's lost. I don't want to see this guy anymore. You need to elevate him now. You got to make something happen. You have to make it to a point where McIntyre wins the belt, takes it from Cody, and changes the friggin' landscape for the time being. Even if it's a week or two, a month, whatever, he took the belt off of Cody. So now that belt can go to anybody else. Now you throw Jacob Fatu into the friggin' mix. He comes into the mix. Randy Orton versus Jacob Fatu. You have all these crazy-ass scenarios. You have that happen. But the main thing is that I don't think they want to turn Cody heel. Randy Orton heel. They want to leave him where he is. The fact is that you make things happen. They want to keep friggin' McIntyre as the heel. So you have Jacob Fatu, Cody Rhodes, and Randy Orton as baby faces against one heel. You have to elevate this more. So you give the belt to friggin' McIntyre, let him go off and do something else, and then you have Randy Orton and friggin' goddamn Randy settle their differences and then work their way up to back to thing. Maybe you have a triple threat. You have Randy Orton, friggin' Cody Rhodes, and friggin' McIntyre, WrestleMania. Yeah, have something like that. But they missed the mark. This should have happened months ago. About a year ago, this should have happened. That's the problem.
I'm going to ask you a quick question, Dom. When ever did it matter for Randy Orton to be either face or heel? When was he ever better? When he was a heel.
When he was a heel, exactly. I know that. But the fact is that Randy Orton is selling T-shirts. The fans are loving him. They turn him heel.
He'll sell it whether he's face or heel
the fans
or
love him whether he's a heel or a
sitting in the
face.
back
I
of the
see
stands.
Cody turn heel. Cody should be the one that turns heel.
I think the only thing keeping him face right now is the lack of baby faces that SmackDown has.
I know.
So that's
now you're
what he
bringing
is.
new
And-
people in.
Right.
You're bringing new people in, and you could change that landscape. Think about this. You turn Cody heel after someone he finally breaks, after all the problems that he's had since he won that belt. That belt became a burden to him because of all the finishing the story. And then he lost it to John Cena. Which you see the John Cena thing. John Cena he was heel, all of a sudden he turned babyface 1, 2, 3, and that whole storyline was fucked up there. But the pressures of the burden of having that championship finally weighed out to a point where Cody cracks. And that's why Jacob Fatu goes after Cody Rhodes, because Cody Rhodes was the one that freaking goddamn took out Jacob Fatu. And that's going to be the storyline. Then I can say it'll be interesting. So you'll have Randy go after McIntyre with the belt. Cody will be fighting Jacob Fatu for the time being. And then later on you can have it happen. Cody becomes
I think this storyline you're bringing up is too little too late.
No, listen.
It's too far
the
back.
match between Cody and Randy is late. That is late. That should have happened a year ago. The same thing like The Rock.
Agreed.
And
But the Fatu thing happened a long time ago too.
I know. Jacob Fatu's coming back. He's going to find out that Cody Rhodes was the ones that took him out. And then he's going to go after Cody Rhodes. And that's how McIntyre wins the damn belt.
They're not going to turn Cody heel anytime soon, man. It's not going to happen. If they would have done it, they would have done it during the John Cena thing. They would have had him sell his soul to The Rock. Cody's not going heel.
I'm just saying now you could have it. You could recorrect that storyline and make it happen, and you could have a good storyline moving forward for this year. Have a good storyline that works throughout the year. I'm telling you, man. Between Nick Notice and friggin' Jacob Fatu, Cody is gonna friggin' lose his belt. He's losing his belt to McIntyre. You're gonna have the Randy Orton versus McIntyre match. That's gonna be the match, and friggin' Jacob Fatu is fighting Cody Rhodes. That's gonna be what happens this year. And listen, and I'll say it, and I'll bet bet the landscape on that.
But why? What you're saying to me doesn't make sense because you're pushing Jacob Fatu. You want Jacob Fatu to be a star. There needs to be an evolution there. If Cody's not the champion anymore, then why does Jacob care? Jacob has beef with Drew McIntyre.
No, he does.
Started a feud. So why would Jacob Fatu go after Cody
why
without the
Cody?
title?
No, I'm saying because the fact is, if you attack him, no title, he's going after the person that attacked him.
It's clearly going to be Drew who attacked him.
I don't think so. I don't think it's Drew. I don't think it's true.
They're not going to turn Cody Rhodes heel. Like it's just not going to do it. And we're in 2026, and we saw in the John Cena tournament that they're willing to do face versus face, heel versus heel. So why couldn't you have a face Randy Orton versus a face Cody Rhodes?
No, you could.
They have a match, and Cody beats him, and then progressively as you go through this feud, Randy says, "Cody, you have something I want, and then to get it from you, I'm going to have to do things that I don't want to do." And it progressively progressively Randy goes back to being heel before he takes the belt off of Cody. Like there's progression there. You need the title. Right. Jacob Fatu just coming back because Cody Rhodes attacked him. That's too Naomi on the spot for Naomi Che Gargill. The natural progression would be Jacob Fatu coming back and attacking Drew McIntyre for attacking him in the background because him and Drew were in the middle of a feud before Jacob had to leave to get his dental surgery. It's just this is the thing with me is like we are sitting here much like the Stranger Things thing. Like ever since Stranger Things ended a week ago, fans have been throwing around all these crazy theories that are way better than what the Duffer Brothers wrote. And now here we are with WWE where we're out here throwing around these crazy theories, crazy matches, crazy ideas that are astronomically better than what we're getting in the programming. And there's just got to be some kind of shakeup. Like I really think Pete has said off a couple of times in our group chat that, the rosters need to be shook up. And I 100% am starting to agree with it. It's getting tired. It's getting stale. It's getting boring. Ending every show
I think
with
I said that before too. Yeah.
division is boring. Like CM Punk needs to move on and be done with division.
They're boring in my opinion because the storylines are fat ass shit. They're going like 2 weeks. We've said this all year. They're only going a couple weeks with these storylines, and then PLE next storyline. Like that's not like carrying over maybe 2 PLEs down to where you get that peak for that feud. You're getting it every 2 or 3 weeks. It's not been good. And if they're going to keep doing that this year, who's going to want that? Because you're not getting anything. You're getting bits. You're getting for lack of a better word, you're getting Quibi. Quibi clips just for the sake, because it's so small and so short, and it's easy, it's compact for them. But they're not writing months down the line. They're only writing weeks down the line.
At one point, Matt Cardona was doing the indie scene as the indie god, going around being the belt collector. He was a champion and he was almost every indie program's world champion. I think you need to insert him right into this WWE title picture. You put him right into this. You insert him right into it. Don't put Jacob Fatu. You have Matt Cardona call his shot and go after the WWE championship. You have him come back with a purpose.
I actually think Matt Cardona is going to freaking wind up winning the U.S. Championship. He's going to wind up taking it from Kamala Hayes. I think that's going to be more of his thing when he comes back, win the mid-card first, and then later on go for the championship. I hope he does go for the championship, but I think as of right now, he's going to be mid-carder. And mid-carder, hey, listen, you know what? Bring friggin' LA Knight back into a SmackDown, have him become a tag team Knight Rider. There you go. You have a friggin' tag team right there. Make it hey, LA Knight, freaking goddamn Zack Ryder, freaking Knight Rider.
Is Hoff going to come in and be their manager?
I don't know, but look, enough of the talk with Jacob Fatu and McIntyre. There's other stories to talk about, like at least Dirty Dom doesn't have to go for surgery. He's going to be coming back for the Royal Rumble.
True.
And
maybe
I have a feeling, look, you're building up you're building up Mysterio, Rey Mysterio, Dragon Lee, and Penta. You got to put Dirty Dom into the mix now, because didn't Logan Paul say he's going after the Intercontinental Championship? You got to start turning Dirty Dom back, turn him face again. You make that could be a redemption of him turning face. And look, eventually, Judgment Day, please break up. Please break up. It's just a long time coming. Listen, Finn Balor should be singles competitor. He should be going to the championship picture. Freaking bringing back the Demon. I'm tired of him just being a backseat player and not doing what he's supposed to do. My man won. He's the first Universal winner. Never got the opportunity ever again after he hurt his shoulder. So put him back into the picture. Give him his day. And they were supposed to push him in 2025, and they didn't. You gave him tag team gold. Then he kept eyeing the Intercontinental Championship from Dirty Dom, and nothing ever transpired from that. Just break up this team. You could have Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez try to go for the tag team gold for now. You could have, which I actually like, Raquel going for the championship. It's somebody different going for the championship belt. Stephanie Vakir, unfortunately she hurt her foot. Don't know how bad and severe the injury is on her foot. She's going to be out for a minute. So now the storyline, there's no championship. We're going to bring back Nikki Bella to fight freaking Raquel. Who knows? But Judgment Day, dismantle the group, please. And just go on your way and just doing things. And please, like I said, Finn Balor, please give his push. Give him his rightful deserving push to win championship gold again. Because I just really I hate the fact that he's a backseat player. JD McDonough, when he comes back, have him singles match. Listen, imagine him and Yvonne Evans fighting. How crazy that match would be. The high flyers, that'd be freaking phenomenal.
See,
you know,
it seems like every time we either bring up them breaking up or we have ideas that they might, it seems like WWE doubles down again and they start winning championships again because they're like
playing it safe. They got to stop.
They have nothing else better to do.
Listen, Matt, didn't they say they want to change the landscape? Change the landscape.
They've said that about 30 times.
Exactly.
The last 3 months.
Yeah.
The landscape is
how many times have they said this is going to be a new beginning?
Look,
a new era.
Look, let me tell you something.
A new era.
You have Logan Paul go for the Intercontinental Championship, right? You have Austin Theory and Bronson Reed go for the Tag Team Championship gold. You friggin' push them out. You want to push the vision, make the vision big, and then Seth Rollins comes back and takes them all out. You know, or you have the biggest twist of them all. Somebody else is running the show from behind the scenes, and he'll be exposed. WrestleMania, that person will come. You know.
Yeah, I mean, Stephanie, I think it's safe to say that her foot injury isn't that bad because they're not stripping her of the title. I mean, according to PW Insider, Stephanie Fakir is dealing with a legitimate injury, but is not considered serious enough to require an extended absence. So I think really they had Raquel Rodriguez take her out so they could write her off TV probably until Royal Rumble. We're only, 3 weeks from Royal Rumble?
Yeah, 3 weeks.
3 weeks from the Royal Rumble.
February.
So they probably
31st, January 31st.
And that's that's another one. Like
Saturday night main event, and then you have Royal Rumble the weekend.
They called up Stephanie Fakir. They put the title on Stephanie Fakir, and she's had how many title matches? She went months between Evolution and actually getting her title shot that she earned in that Battle Royale. And then she's faced Nikki Bella twice. And she really isn't,
they teased
challengers.
Liv Morgan. They teased Liv Morgan with Stephanie Fakir. They teased that. But this is the problem with them. They friggin' listen, back in the day, every week the champion fought. Every week. You like Roman Reigns winning the championship will be a waste of time. You need a championship that's on the show. I'll tell you what, Roman Reigns having both belts kind of elevated the mid-card titles. Yes, they did, because those are the only titles to freaking win because he held hostage to the freaking belts. But you got to have somebody that's going to be dedicated. Listen, you don't have to fight every week, but every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks, at least twice on regular TV, regular shows, and then once at a pay-per-view. You have to let at least the pay-per-views. You should be fighting more often, and that's the problem. I don't understand what the problem is. Story creative. If fans can come out and make stories, better stories than creative and corporate that are making billions of dollars, and a fan can do something better, there's a problem. And that's with everything that's going on. What is wrong with the writers today when it comes to storytelling? How come we can't get a good story? And a good story, like I said, the Bloodline was the last great story, if you really think about it. And that ended prematurely. It didn't even end in a way it should have ended. So the landscape really has to change. You want to deplete NXT, fine. But make things happen. Give us good stories. Give us substance. Give us a reason why two guys are going to be fighting each other. Give us go back to Survivor Series and have Raw and SmackDown battle for supremacy on who is the better brand. War Games, that's it, done. No more War Games. You can go back to War Games maybe later on, but go back to the original freaking elimination of SmackDown and Raw fighting each other. Because now NXT, you're depleting NXT. All those main guys are coming up, so NXT will still be the development thing. You have the thing, but Raw and SmackDown. And then you have the betrayal where you have a dude, I'm not even on Raw anymore. He rips his shirt off and he's on SmackDown. Like when the Big Show and Randy Orton do go back to those times. Look, I'm telling you, the PG era has been great. The PG era has been lousy. There have been so many ups and downs. But you know what was consistent? The friggin' Attitude Era was consistent. Yes, you had DX.
Was it though?
Well, you know what? Because you had DX, you had Nation of Domination, you had all these things, the progression of The Rock, Stone Cold, the freaking Ministry of Darkness, you had the freaking goddamn corporate ministry, you had all these things that were going back and forth. So there was a story that was being told. And like I said, everybody in the back was fighting. They were either on a team or they were fighting.
I'll say it flowed better. I'll say it flowed better than it doesn't.
It did. And look, Vince McMahon, love him or hate him. Yes, he was a pain in the ass, but he did have a vision and he did know good storytelling and he knew how to keep ticket prices down for the families. And that's the problem. You know, we live in a world today where everything goes up. Once corporate takes over things, I keep saying corporate is an evil entity that drains the life out of you, that takes the money out of you. You work harder, they take the money, you die tomorrow, they'll place you in a heartbeat without no ifs, ands, or buts. They don't care about you, me, and anybody else. All they care about is the dollar. You put out a lousy product, you'll get people that are just regular people. It was good. But the fans are the ones that actually left out. The hardcore fans. And that's with everything. From Star Wars to freaking Marvel to freaking wrestling. We're here talking. How many podcasts are out there that are very passionate about the sport of wrestling? There's many podcasts out there. And they'll tell you. They'll tell you the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. That the ugliest part of what's going on now, and we'll bring it up again, the ticket prices, the money we're spending to see shows that don't make sense and shows that are lousy is not fair to the fan at all. We should be getting, if we're paying top dollar, we should be getting top dollar storylines, freaking goddamn scenarios. You know, I want to see things crashing down. I want to see the landscape change. We sit there like, holy shit. I want to have those moments. Like, you believe this shit freaking goddamn CM Punk just freaking turned on this dude. Holy shit. I want to see the pipe bomb drop again where CM Punk didn't care about it. They go to the corporate and go, I'm tired of this corporate crap. You're holding us hostage over here. You got to let us. I want to see more freaking chances. I want to see more takes on things that we've never seen before. It's the chances that they should be taking, and they're not. They're playing it safe, and that's with everything. They're playing it safe with freaking lousy shows that we're paying top dollar for, and we're saying this is lousy, and they're feeling the heat. Look,
well,
ESPN.
Can I ask just real quick?
Right.
Do you think the silence of the Brooklyn crowd could generate disdain for the prices and what they're getting in these shows?
I'm gonna tell you this. I'll give you one better.
I don't think so either. But I do think a lot of these people who are going to these shows are just the lemmings that just keep going to these shows because they come into town. It's like going to town because the circus is here.
I'm gonna tell you
gotta take my family to the circus.
I know, but you know what? You brought up a good point. And I'll give you one better. The silence of the crowd for Brooklyn. Watch when they go to Europe. The crowd is going to be extra freaking special.
Oh, no question.
You're going to have less shows in certain areas in the United States because of this, and more outside shows. More outside shows that are actually going to get the shows because of the cheering and the craziness. Look, Brooklyn.
Right.
Look, Matt. How many times you seen shows in Brooklyn that had a crowd that cheered, that was great? I have never seen a crowd this mellow.
The New York crowds are always crazy. Brooklyn, Madison Square Garden, no matter where, they're always hot crowds, and like that's kind of how I knew
Even Buffalo was good.
Raw was kind of dead because the crowd was dead. Nobody cared. Like, I can't tell you. Like, you could have probably heard a cricket. You could have heard somebody fart in the Barclays Center on Monday night when Maxime Dupree was coming to the ring. It was so dead. Nobody was cheering. Nobody was on their feet. Nobody was trying. I wish we could play the video without getting copyright strike. You watch her walk down the ramp, and she's going to the barricade, and nobody has their hands out to high five her. She's pretending to high five people because nobody's sitting there wanting to high five her.
And then how about this? You're right. What about when she went into the ring and when she fought, she started going crazy, and no one did cheer.
Nobody cheered. Nobody cared. Zero reaction.
So,
and I kind of feel like if you've seen the previews for the season 2 of WWE in Real, Paul Heyman's sitting there and he says, "I'm not gonna hide this. There's no hiding this. I don't like you people. I don't like this show because it's giving away our bread and butter. This is our bread. This is our livelihood, and you're giving away the coffee. You're showing how it's made." And I think that's part of the problem with professional wrestling is nowadays is that there's so many dirt sheets, there's so many podcasts, there's so many talking heads like us where we speculate, or people are getting leaks that there's no surprise. The pageantry of professional wrestling is gone. Like, I remember me and my buddy when Vince McMahon had that his limo sent into what was it? A semi, and it exploded in a fireball.
Yep.
I had people, we were talking about for days whether it was real or fake. Was Vince alive or Vince dead? It was that was the pageantry. That was the spectacle, the magic of professional wrestling. And now when you're sitting here showing how the sausage is made, it kind of takes this wind out of the sails a little bit. And so now you have to have performers who can tell a story with the wrestling, as well as, really tell a story in and out of the ring is where I was going with that. And you're kind of getting that with Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes. But I think my biggest problem with the Drew McIntyre Cody Rhodes is that there's not a natural progression enough that matches the intensity of the rivalry.
Nope.
3 stages of hell doesn't match the intensity of the rivalry. Because I'm here to tell you, this is how I fully expect tomorrow night to go. Drew McIntyre is going to win the first fall. He's going to get overconfident and cocky, and then Cody's going to win the second, which leads him to the steel cage. And Jacob Fatu is going to come in and interfere, and Cody's going to escape the cage and win to retain the title. That's what I see happening, and that's going to be the end of Cody Rhodes, Drew McIntyre. Cody's going to move on to Randy, and Drew is going to feud with Jacob Fatu. That's just like right now here I see it. Like, you sit here and we can all be like, oh, well, this is going to happen. This is going to happen. Like I said, Monday night, Dom had these big grandiose ideas that, oh, Seth Rollins is going to come out and this, that. And I said, no, the people coming out are going to be Penta and Dragon Lee and Rey Mysterio. But why? Why do we have powerhouses feuding with the likes of old man Rey Mysterio? What's for Logan Paul to feud with Rey Mysterio? Nothing. I'm more interested in a Rey Mysterio versus Dominic Mysterio for that AAA Mega Championship. That's what I'm interested in. I don't give a fuck about a Rey Mysterio Logan Paul match. And congratulations to Logan Paul for signing a long-term contract to remain with WWE. That's awesome. I think Logan Paul's a great talent, and I can't wait to see him as a world champion one day, because God knows he's getting to the point where he deserves it. But when I say that, I don't know if you guys saw the comments with that William Regal made this week about big spots in wrestling. And 100% agree with him. I mean, basically, said, to summarize it, he was warning wrestlers that repeatedly taking bumps to their head and neck can lead to severe long-term health problems.
Yeah.
Look at Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens is a perfect example of what's going on.
And look at this guy.
He showed
Braun Breaker. It's happening to Braun Breaker.
Yeah, he was mostly, from what I understand, he's mostly aiming it towards AEW and like the crazy bloody spots AEW's been doing lately. But you don't need to. A lot of these young guys that are going so hard and getting neck issues, they're gonna gas themselves out, blow themselves up, and then their quality of life is going to be really shitty because they took bad bumps.
Look at Nick Foley. Nick Foley, all the years of getting bumps and bruises in his head, man. He's like he's not that old, and he looks like he's older than he is.
I mean, look at Bryan Danielson. Like, I feel for guys like Bryan Danielson and like Edge who love this so much that they don't want to go out for retirement. They want to go out on their own terms, so they come back after the next. Like Nikki Bella is doing the same thing. Paige tried to do the same thing where they can't go out on their own terms, so they want to come back till they can go on. But what's that do to your quality of life?
Yeah.
Like, walk away from the ring.
Listen, I understand that it's your passion, this and that, but there comes a time in your life you have to do that. You rather walk away from the ring instead of they have to take you out in a freaking goddamn wheelchair because you can't freaking goddamn walk anymore. You can't do things. And look, us growing up at a time where, the 90s, you had all these things that are going on. I understand you want to play it safe with all these wrestlers and stuff like that because it's their livelihood, and plus at the same time they're human, but they're acrobatic. They're action stars are freaking stuntmen. That's what they are. They're stuntmen that perform these things for us. And it is like a circus because you're like, look at the elephants, and you're sitting there and you watch them in the ring. It's like the cage, but at the same time, you can still do a quality story to get the crowd going. And look, you got all these things that are coming out. Look, I'm gonna tell you this. You know what's funny? All these stories that are coming out that are happening now, because wrestling is not overshadowing these stories. So all these stories that are coming out. So this happened years ago. I'm bringing this to light of day, because I couldn't talk back then. Or I'm doing this now. I'm doing that. There is nothing covering up. The sport of wrestling is still hot, but at the same time, it's not where it should. It's not where it should be. It should be up here.
Not what it was.
Yeah, exactly. It's up here. It should be here. It's like here. It's stagnant right here. Because look, you got TNA, you got AEW, you got all the other wrestling from New Japan and freaking AAA and all these wrestlers. You have a lot of potential stars and a lot of money to be made. Which
TNA's first TV taping should be next Thursday, right?
Yeah. And apparently AJ Styles is supposed to be aboard with it, because that's another story. 2028, they have a contract with each other, WWE and TNA, until at least 2028. So there could be other storylines on the road. You could have those characters show up on the main roster, which, I know you want to build up NXT, but I think those characters in TNA should be more on the main roster than going down in NXT, having more battles with NXT. But there's a lot going on. Listen, there's a lot in wrestling that's happening right now. But we're sitting here, and yes, we have our freaking quarrels with the way things should be run and how things should be run. But they're sitting there just counting the money, because, like you said, there are people still willing to pay to see the shows and don't care what kind of story they get, as long as they see some wrestling. I
don't know. I don't know what they're expecting. They're not getting what they expect. Outside of a wrestling match. You want to go watch a wrestling match, you go to your local wrestling promotion. Like here, I got One Up, great wrestling promotion. I would rather go see them, and then go to a WWE. Prices are better, and I know I'm going to get a good match.
Yeah,
I already know what I'm getting with WWE. It's not something I don't even care about at the end of the day. Like the match is over, like okay, there was a match.
You're right.
Yeah, I might as well go to a one-off match, and watch it. Plenty of those independent wrestling promotions out there in cities around the country.
Look,
Give them,
the one bright spot is that TNA is going to get more of a spotlight now. They're on AMC. They're going to have their thing. You have all these call-ups that are coming up in Raw and SmackDown. You got the Royal Rumble coming soon. You got the big pay-per-views. WrestleMania is a few months away. There's a lot to look forward to. And I hope
done right, yes. If done right, absolutely.
If they've done right. Yeah.
If done right. And I think, I really think that the crowd response this week kind of opened eyes. Because, yes, they sold out. They sold out. Tickets were $150, for like nosebleed seats and stuff like that. Because I want to go. In a way, I'm kind of glad it didn't go. But it would have been fun to go. But I think the look, either one or two things they're going to do. They're going to look at the response of the crowd as like, wow, this is a lame crowd that actually did, we have a problem. Or they're going to add freaking cheers like they've done in the past in certain things, arenas, and make it sound like it's freaking
piping crowd noise.
Yeah, pipe in the crowd.
Wait this week. Watch the crowds in the UK and Germany. Watch the crowds, how crazy they're gonna get, and you're gonna hear.
You don't have to watch the crowd; you'll hear them.
And exactly, and the crowd.
The vocals will.
Let me tell you something. How cool is it when you're in the middle of the ring, and they're singing your song, Freaking the Randy Orton when he's in the middle, AJ Styles when Cody Rhodes is in the, and they just the crowd.
Cody Rhodes. But how much of that though is that they don't get, WWE only goes over there once a year, maybe twice a year, so they don't get a lot of pro wrestling in that aspect over there, other than independent promotions that are over there. So they make their voice heard because they only get a few shows a year over there.
Yeah, but dude,
where the States it's every week.
I know, but think about it. They may get the one show, but they're excited to see their favorite stars battle it out. And that's the thing. WWE should take a look at the fact, yes. So I'm like I was saying before, with the response of what's going on here, I think they're going to do more overseas shows because the response here is kind of freaking lame. That's why Saudi Arabia is getting the Royal Rumble. That's why WrestleMania is going to Saudi Arabia next year.
Did you see that they're building a stadium specifically for the Royal Rumble?
Yeah.
That's nuts.
That's
nuts that they're going to do that. And they're going to try to have that. They got to try to have that done in less than 3 weeks. Like they've got to be working like 24/7.
Yep.
Like they must have different teams coming in there in shifts to work through the night, through the day.
Yeah. Hey, listen, they don't play like the Middle East, building things in Dubai and stuff like that, and the Middle East and freaking Saudi Arabia, China, freaking Japan. Over here, it takes forever to build shit. Other countries, they go out all their way to build things, but that is freaking crazy. I don't know. Sticks. Maybe we expect too much for being fans for so long.
I think Matt's right. I think they get it very little and we get it so much, and we get, I don't know if the word's complacent in the product.
No, we should be happy.
Or
we
what?
should be happy of all this wrestling we're getting. all these promotions, all these pay-per-views, all these things, but we're not, because we see that it's watering stuff down. It's not surprising and celebrate. It's not like you get something like wow and you get to enjoy it. Like a pay-per-view comes and you get to enjoy it. Like 2 months later, you get a pay-per-view. You get pay-per-views every fucking week, or every month, whatever it is. And it gets to a point where it does get a little.
I mean, for us, it's like, you're eating steak every week. At some point, maybe you start to not want that steak. You want chicken. You want something else. Whereas you go over here, they don't have steak, so you're bringing the steak over there, and they're like, "Holy shit, this is the greatest thing I've ever had."
Yeah,
and they get, it goes off the rails.
It's World Wrestling Entertainment. They are worldwide. The wrestling has been great. There have been top-notch wrestling matches. The thing that's lacking is that entertainment. Entertain me. We're in a time where the most valuable resource that a person has anymore is their time. So when you sit down to watch a 3-hour Raw or a 2.5-hour Raw on Mondays and a 3-hour on SmackDown on Fridays, you are essentially asking not only for these fans to invest in you monetarily, but with their most valuable resource, and that is their time. And you're to put on a show to entertain them, allow them 3 hours to escape from what's going on at home, what's going on at their job, what's going on in the world, their financial situation. It's supposed to be a release.
We
We
know we're gonna get a wrestling match. What we want is the extra that comes with that wrestling match. We want the drama. We want some drama, or whatever the case may be in the storyline. We want more just X's and O's of wrestling.
Did you, to change the subject really quick, did you guys see the fan gets ejected for hitting a wrestler at the ACW wrestling event?
Yes.
Yeah, Rumble. You forget him in the face with something.
I didn't see that.
That's right. You get taken up.
But you know what Monday Night Raw has become? It's, up next we're gonna have a World Tag Team Title match: the Kabuki Warriors versus Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. Breaking news! Welcome back from that commercial break. We're mid-match here. The action is really heating up. Rhea Ripley is about to go for a riptide. Breaking news! We got clash! Welcome back from the commercial break. Javon Evans is here, and he's going to sign his contract. The newest WWE talent is in the ring right now. He's got some words to say. Step into the time tunnel. Let's rewind. Every different audience gets left. Welcome back from that commercial break. Listen, we got our world champion about to take the ring. Ignite tonight. Wrestling fight. Welcome back to yet another commercial break. Dude.
Yeah.
Right.
So many commercials, especially on Netflix. So many commercials.
What's that? I'm getting something from the booth. We forgot to play the Slim.
Stick just got muted because of all my commercials. Yeah. Rhea Ripley's going for her Eradicator right after these messages. We're back to the action. It's picking up. I don't know, man. I listen. I don't want to be negative. I love professional wrestling. I love the sport, the pageantry, the stories, everything that encompasses professional wrestling. I love the circus-like mentality of it. I want it to be great. I don't just sit down with my wife and kids on Monday nights to watch professional wrestling. I want to be entertained. The wrestling is great. These performers are at the top of their game. They're the best in the world at what they do for a reason. But it's the entertainment aspect of it. I don't need to see 16 backstage segments. I want to be entertained. I want good stories. What's the storyline? Where are we going? Can either one of you tell me what's the story with the Vision and CM Punk? Where are we going?
Well,
Braun Breaker just feels like he should be the world heavyweight champion because he took out Seth Rollins. Like that's where we're at. He feels like he's the unstoppable badass. Because, how come LA Knight can get away from this? Well, yeah, he got taken out by the Vision. Okay, but how come the Usos can get away from it? Oh, that's right. They went back to being a tag team.
Yep.
Why CM Punk is just like in this vortex of stuck with the Vision.
Because
he's been there.
He was stuck with the Seth Rollins thing. Let me tell you something. All kidding aside, I think him chasing the belt and him getting denied every opportunity was the best for CM Punk. Him winning the belt now, he's going to get placement. It's Cody Rhodes won the belt, story over, boring. This is the problem. When they're chasing the belt, Seth Rollins, when he's chasing the belt, he's a better performer than he is with the belt. And that's with everything. And look, because you have nothing for CM Punk right now. Who's going after CM Punk? You know, you have Gunther in the midst of freaking retiring people. That's all he's always good for. Most of the guys, the big guys, Bronson Reed, freaking Braun Breaker, all part of freaking the Vision that's going on. You got Roman Reigns that comes every fucking 4 months, comes out every 4 months. You got there's nobody. There's nobody. You know, and that's the problem. And that's why I said, yeah, you could have a brand split, but there should be interaction. You should have somebody come from SmackDown to try to take CM Punk's belt. You know, if I can't fight Cody, I'm going to Raw. I'm gonna instead of having the same generic storylines, have a different thing. You're a champion. You can cross over. You go to both things. You can fight anybody you want to fight. RKO is freaking goddamn CM Punk. Why? Because I wanted to, and I want the championship. These are the things you don't. It's boring and it's lackluster to a point where it's complacent. When CM Punk came back, the crowd was bananas. And him chasing the belt was the best 2 years that CM Punk could possibly have. And it's unfortunate Seth Rollins got hurt, so he lost the belt. Now he has the belt, Braun Breaker. I want to be champion. Look, I guarantee after WrestleMania, you're probably going to have the Vision's going to have all the gold. They're going to have all the gold. Braun Breaker will be champion. You'll have the tag team championship and Logan Paul be Intercontinental Championship. That's what's going to happen. And then the dismantle of the freaking goddamn Vision is going to start happening down the road because it can't sustain the way it is.
Well, like I said, I feel like they need to get rid of all the because nobody cares. Nobody cared when Austin Theory revealed himself. Nobody cares. He's in the group. Nobody cares. He hasn't done anything.
He hasn't done anything right now. Austin Theory is probably working for Seth Rollins.
Who cares? Snooze. Boring. Give me something new. Give me something. Like, I miss the days of like Booker T and Stone Cold brawling through the grocery store. I miss the hardcore championship where you're seeing pinfalls take place at airports. I'm sick and tired of, I miss them battling the Rock Stone Cold where they threw the Intercontinental Championship in the river.
Right. The next week, The Rock had it on the People's Champ. I remember those storylines. I tell you, that's the friggin' attitude era where it had a lot of great stories.
You had dudes battling outside and throwing each other in the rivers. You
had Booker T versus Stone Cold in the supermarket.
Right, I just said that.
Oh, you did? I didn't hear you. Sorry.
The best.
But I don't know. That's where I'm like, I don't want to. I wanted it to be prefaced like I don't want to be negative about this stuff, but I'm also there's enough fake people in the IWC that are gonna come here and overreact to the biggest things on. You see him all over Twitter, Instagram. Oh, I'm gonna overreact to this segment this week on TV. You're a paid actor, man. Like that's essentially what you are. I'm gonna come here and give you my honest opinion on the product, and my honest opinion is the product ain't worth a fuck right now, man. It really isn't. AEW, WWE, it isn't worth it. It's not. Week after week, we're getting the same regurgitated bullshit, the same stuff. I don't. Why? CM Punk has been feuding with the Vision for almost a year now. It's time to move on. And it's just not even. It's like he's going from one. Oh, he feuded with Seth Rollins. Now he's going to feud with Braun Breaker. Okay, well, when his feud's over with Braun Breaker, then he's going to feud with Bronson Reed, and then he's going to feud with Logan Paul. No, stop. We have too many factions in WWE right now. Judgment Day, the MFTs, the Vision.
Everybody's in a faction.
I really hope, beyond hope, that when Oba Femi comes to Raw, they keep him having the same gimmick he has now, where he is just an absolute machine and he just runs through everybody. I want to see Oba Femi versus Brock Lesnar.
Fucking win, lose, or draw.
WrestleMania.
Win, lose, or draw. You know, you have that going on. If he wins, he wins. If he loses, he loses. A count out. As long as you have him power roll, you're right. Put that blood, that steam in it. Have him, listen, eventually, look, and I think the storylines, the no more storylines with the squash matches that you put them in against guys that mean nothing. Like they have those two generic guys that come in and they're fighting. Oh, he won. I remember when Braun Strowman was there and he was first fighting. They had these two knuckleheads. Oh, these guys are scared and they get squashed. No more of that shit. Just put him right into the fold of the story. Put him right there. Like Roxanne Perez went right into she came in and she wanted to be part of Judgment Day and became part of the story. She didn't have those squash matches against fucking generic women that didn't fight, that haven't fought.
You didn't have any.
Right, I know. That's what I'm trying to say. See, and that's the thing.
They didn't have any.
They fucking let everybody go. They release everybody.
Mm-hmm.
My thing is that I'm still pissed off. They let freaking Karrion Kross go, which I really wish that we get surprised and they sign him again.
He really isn't doing anything on the indie scene right now either.
I know that's the thing. He had the good match against Matt Cardona, and he did that. He had that, and after that, he kind of like doing certain things and doing interviews with other people, But at the end of the day, they missed the mark on that. They could have had him,
not really. They had him prime the wheels for Aleister Black and Zelina Vega. That's pretty much what they did.
Well, it's funny.
Here, you build this gimmick, and we're just going to go ahead and hand it to these other people.
This is where you have friggin' Banana Republic. I mean, you have Banana Republic, and then you have the Gap, and then you have friggin' Old Navy, and that's what they did. They friggin' took Banana Republic and Karrion Kross and Scarlett. They gave the friggin' Gap to friggin' Aleister Black and Vega, and now they'll probably let those go and give somebody that's Old Navy.
This show's come full circle when he's using clothing companies to try to make an analogy.
Yeah. Hey.
But meanwhile, here comes American Eagle to take over all the shit and
American Eagle. You're right. But look. All right, one show. Because I think SmackDown was a good show. Wasn't it a great show? I thought it was a good show. I thought it was better. It stood up better than Raw did.
I think the only thing that made SmackDown exciting was really, if we're really being honest, was the returns. The return to Matt Cardona, the Trick Williams promo. Like I was going to talk, we could talk about SmackDown right now. Here's essentially really, you realize you had 5 matches on SmackDown, right?
3 hours.
Yeah. 3 hours, 5 matches. You had Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, and Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair versus the Kabuki Warriors, Nia Jackson, Lash Legend, with the baby faces Sky, Ripley, Flair, and Bliss going over. You had a backstage segment with Nick Aldis talking to Jordynne Grace. about being a potential free agent. We now know she's going to SmackDown. Chelsea Green enters and didn't interrupt and didn't care for any of it. So, she's throwing her weight around. You had Kit Wilson versus the return of Matt Cardona. Love that he came out to the woo, woo, woo. And then you heard the record scratch. And then you heard, oh, we's ready. And it came out to Matt Cardona. And, Matt, I don't know if Corey Gray, I don't know if there was a memo that he was going to be Matt Cardona. I don't know if they just made that decision last minute, whether he's going to be Matt Cardona or Zack Ryder, because apparently Corey Graves and Michael Cole didn't get the memo because they both kept calling him Zack Ryder.
You know what's funny about that? When they had that match, he was going to fight a mystery opponent. I thought it was going to be Oba Femi. I thought Oba Femi was going to come out and be a squash match and that. Did not expect Matt Cardona to come in. I did not.
It was a nice surprise.
I like that, and that's what actually saved SmackDown. But SmackDown was actually pretty good. I thought it was much better as a show compared to Raw. But you know what? Like I said, I'm sorry, Matt, for cutting you off with the talking about the rest of SmackDown. But really quick, we have two shows that are in the books for January. And it's the beginning of the year, and one was good, one was not so good. I'm just hoping that as the year progresses, we get a couple of good shows, and hopefully that things can change.
I mean, I hope so too. I hope that by the time 2026 is over, we're sitting here talking about what an amazing year of professional wrestling it is.
Yeah.
2023, 2024, but I was hoping beyond hope that, okay, maybe 2025 was a down year because WWE was more focused and all their creative efforts were put into John Cena's retirement versus whatever else was going on. And now that that's done, maybe we can get back to a little bit more creativity. And I didn't see that from the first. Really, the only reason to watch SmackDown is the returning Matt Cardona, the Sami Zayn Trick Williams promo, and the ambulance match. That was pretty much it.
All right, the ambulance match. Now, what friggin' Damian Priest winning? What? You see, I'm going to give you another example. Friggin' Selena Vega. Friggin' Rhea Ripley came out and interfered and got rid of her. She should have came out and interfered with them fighting the Kabuki Warriors. One way, shape, or form. She should have came out. Continue that story. Why that story? It makes no sense. That twice she came in, they beat them, and you know what it is? So what damage? I'm going to tell you this. What's going to happen? Aleister Black and friggin' Vega are coming over to Raw. Because SmackDown, they're done in SmackDown. You lose to Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest the week before, or 2 weeks ago, and then you lose to Damian Priest in the ambulance match, which I thought somebody was coming out. I thought the way he opened the door, I could open the door on one side, he goes to the other side, opens the door for one reason, then he could open the door on that side to get him in there. I thought someone was coming out. I thought somebody was going to jump out of the freaking the ambulance and attack Damian Priest.
Rhea Ripley did. She came out of the ambulance to attack Zelina Vega.
No, but I'm just saying, but later on, when he was getting him after he dropped him to the table, he couldn't open the door. He went to the other side, opened that door, and then he went up opening what made no sense. But the fact is that what credibility now does Aleister Black have after losing 2 matches against Damian Priest? You know what I'm saying? So either he goes to Raw and winds up becoming darker in Raw, or you just buried him. You buried him in the last couple of weeks. But that being said, you're right. The ambulance match, the Trick Williams promo, and the returning Matt Cardona. Those were the freaking highlights of.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I kind of miss the gimmick matches. I miss I like seeing the ambulance match. I miss the casket matches. I miss the dumpster matches. I miss buried alive matches.
I know,
things like that. I miss the real
match, rest in peace.
Casket matches. Yeah, the real gimmicky matches. I miss those because then you get just like Carmelo Hayes versus Johnny Gargano, which wasn't a bad match, but they're not going to have Carmelo Hayes lose the belt right away, and then you kind of get Jay Cargill and her face off with Jordynne Grace, and then You get the Cody Rhodes, and again, I will say it again. I think that Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre are doing amazing work. They are doing amazing work. My issue with their feud is not the progression in the feud, it's the progression in the matches fitting the feud. You know, like they have, like I've said over and over and over again, their feud calls for something more than a traditional wrestling match, a street fight, and a steel cage match. They are to the point, because when Cody Rhodes was feuding with Seth Rollins, what was it? We had the first two matches, and the third one was what? Hell in a Cell.
Yep.
We need Cody Rhodes, Drew McIntyre to be inside Hell in a Cell to where they can put each other behind the other once and for all. And the only way to end this feud is have Cody beat Drew. If Drew beats Cody, then that feud's going to continue.
Yeah.
It's time to let Cody Rhodes move on to somebody else. It's time for Drew to move on to somebody else. Just like it's time for the Vision to move on to somebody else. Moving on to Rey. It's like we don't have anything for Rey Mysterio, Penta, and Dragon Lee. So instead of putting Penta back together with his brother, which is what they were supposed to do in AAA, they're going to just pair him with Dragon Lee and Rey Mysterio now. Like, Penta was on such a good singles run, and they just like dumped ice water. They just gave him the ice bucket challenge and cooled him right off. Julia I still don't like this hot potato act with this women's mid cards. I don't like them going back and forth between the same two people. Like, I will say that having Maxine Dupree win the Intercontinental Championship was a nice change of pace. Having Thea Hale win the Women's North American Championship, even though it was in a complete botch, and she only held the title for a week before losing it to Izzy Dame last night on Tuesday night on NXT. It was a nice change of pace. I'm tired of seeing. This has got to be Becky's last run with the Intercontinental Championship. She needs to move on after this.
Yeah, because they want to give it to AJ Lee. And AJ Lee, was she a part-timer too? I thought she signed the thing to come back, and she hasn't even fought.
Maxine Dupree needs to move on to something else after this. I would like to see Natalya get involved somehow.
Where's Natalya? Natalya should have came out.
Julia, I don't want to see. I agree with you. Chelsea Green needs to move up to bigger and better. Chelsea Green needs to be chasing the women's WWE Championship. Yep. She doesn't need to be chasing the United States Championship anymore. And I honestly don't think Julia needs that championship. I hope, beyond hope, that Jordynne Grace takes that belt off of Julia. I hope, beyond hope, that Sol Ruca comes up and takes that belt off of Julia. Julia did nothing for that belt the first time around. I hope, beyond hope, that she does something with it this time around. But I don't really know.
Beautiful madness. You have
that that's going to happen, because it just seems like her style has not transitioned well from Japan to
I don't think it's that
our style of wrestling.
Creative is messing up. They messed up. They said that they botched her first run, and hopefully they can freaking fix it by doing the second run. We'll see.
I mean, have her wrestle more than one match, and you're already doing significantly better than you did the last time.
Listen, have Jordynne Grace and freaking Sol Ruca battle her. WrestleMania, have her freaking fight Sol Ruca for the belt. You have them go back and forth. Have Jordynne Grace more part of it. Like, another thing, like, Blake Monroe is going to probably be going. I think she's going to wind up on Raw. Blake Monroe. I think she's going to wind up there on Raw, and Sol Ruca and Jordynne Grace will be on SmackDown, of course.
See, I don't know who they're going to call up to Raw, because in the last rounds of call-ups, Raw got Stephanie, Roxanne, who else in the female division? It was just Stephanie and Roxanne.
Yeah.
And SmackDown got what? Lash Legend and Julia. So, I mean, I hope, I honestly think Blake Monroe and I think Blake Monroe should take that title off Julia. She did great work with the Women's North American Championship in NXT. She did great work with the AEW Women's World Championship. I think you have Blake Monroe come up and you stun it and you take that belt off Julia.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love Julia in NXT. I'm not so high on Julia main roster.
Listen, NXT was at a pinnacle with Stephanie and Julia there. It made the show fantastic. Everything was on cylinders, all 5 cylinders. Everything was going. And they bring them to the main roster, and this just happens with the main roster. Yeah, freaking they lose steam. They come here, and all of a sudden, creative, you can't do shit with them. Look,
well,
you can't tell me.
Maybe because the people who were writing for them is not.
Let me tell you something. You talk about the Diva Championship back in the day, right? Look how many players we had back in the day. If you think about it, the players that went after the Diva Championship. You tell me you don't have a women's division that could actually top that women's division and go after these mid cards now that they made these mid cards for certain things. The mid card should be one of the hottest things. Look, Julia should be doing what the freaking U.S. Championship for the male division does. Should be freaking open challenge. But you see, open challenge gets boring too. You fight. You want a storyline. You want a storyline with that belt. You want to have a match. You're fighting somebody, and have a huge storyline and make the United States Championship, make the U.S. I think United States Championship, the Intercontinental Championship, and the United States Championship. Make them irrelevant. Make them irrelevant in the women's division. Make them freaking goddamn become top-notch belts. And then eventually, when you get set up, go after the champion. Look, Jade Cargill has had the belt. She fought friggin' B-Fab, and she fought friggin' Nichin. That was it. She also hurt.
I know.
B-Fab is out, and she also hurt. It's the 2 people that she fought on the injured list. But the fact is that you tell me you have nobody to go after that belt? Were they waiting for Bianca Belair, who's supposedly coming back in Royal Rumble? That's what they're waiting for. To go after that belt. But you see, you have her just sitting stagnant, not having any matches, showing up in promos, and that's it. Come on, man. She's the fucking women's champion.
See, I like the open challenge because I feel like the open challenge brings back some of that unpredictability that we have been missing, because you don't have to worry about storyline necessarily. You have a surprise come out to take this open challenge at any time and really showcase people like Javon Evans, like Carmelo Hayes. And Carmelo Hayes was on the main roster for how long? And he just now kind of finally broke out and finally got his opportunity in this open challenge. And I think that's why it's so interesting that they're like, hey, you're going to keep the open challenge open, right? You're going to keep the open challenge open, right? Yeah. I like the open challenges for that aspect, but we go from Friday Night SmackDown, where we open the show with who? Oh, that's right. The Kabuki Warriors, Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, all these women who are mainstays in the singles division, who are just thrown into a tag team division because they have no female tag teams, to opening Raw with Rhea Ripley and Io Sky versus the Kabuki Warriors, but this time for the championships. And you put the championships on them to try and move past it to what? Call up Fatal Attraction. There's Fatal Influence. There's rumors that JC Jane and her group's going to get called up.
Yeah.
Like I said, Raw was, then you had Gunther come out and call John Cena a little bitch again. And then you had AJ Styles just absolutely slap the fucking taste out of Gunther's mouth. That's how dead that Barclays Center Brooklyn crowd was, as you could hear AJ Styles' slap of Gunther just reverberate and echo through the arena.
True.
You know, and then you got Becky Lynch versus Maxine Dupree, what feels like 17, with Becky Lynch becoming the champion again. And like, I liked her story of, you know, her kind of the Sami Zayn-esque, you know, propaganda machine. There's a conspiracy theory that, you know, out there against me, where she's calling lawyers and calling out Adam Pearce and calling out the crooked referee and things like that. Was good character work for Becky. Becky's doing great character work. And I think that she kind of gets overshadowed in that a little bit, because only really by a certain someone in AEW that used to be WWE, because she's doing better character work. And I'm talking about Tony Storm. And, you know, Maxine Dupree showed in that match that she's not ready for that title. Like, it was like, okay, well, let's see what you got. That's what these mid-card titles are supposed to be. Let's put it on her and see what she can do. And when the lights were on her the brightest, she had 2 really good matches, and then she went right back to stinking. Whether it was Becky Lynch not selling that like backbreaker that she does or whatever,
so,
it just
you had what's her name too come out tell the friggin' Adam Pearce, friggin' Nile that she go back to the chip. So now,
yeah, how many times do we have to see Ivy Nile challenge for that?
But now that Maxine Dupree doesn't have it anymore, is she going after Becky Lynch?
Probably. I mean, yeah, but I mean, I think we all know that the next, like, depending on how long it takes them to pull the trigger, it probably won't be till WrestleMania that they pull the trigger.
We had a blackout match. One of the Creed brothers fought what's his face?
Javon Evans on what, main event?
Yeah, like they fought at a blackout match. Which
the only other time you saw them was in a Scoops Ahoy boat in the background.
No, actually, you saw them when friggin' Ivy Nile came out. They were walking behind her and then they disappeared. Look, how come they're not fighting for the belt? Look, Chad Gable is on the verge of coming back. And by the way, my man got jacked. You know, he's friggin', I think he's in better shape than he was before he got hurt.
Good.
You know, but you know, it makes look.
Like, are you serious that we have to have the Usos come out and basically just yeet and say, you know, run it back and yeet some more and yeet them their pants off and yeet in their pants, and just to say, you want some, come get some, and then yeet some more
and leave, man. Get up and
then
leave.
Yeah, and then leave. Like, what is that?
Listen, who there? Like I said, you got the Creed brothers that do nothing. They should be fighting. You know, I don't understand. No creative story. You know. Listen, what's his name's contract's up with TNA soon? Slater. They're gonna probably bring him tag and team him up with friggin' Von Evans. You know, they were a good tag team in that Saturday Night Main event. You know, you could rest assured they'll probably be they're gonna put them together. And I can see that in the future. You know,
yeah, I could too. But like Moose, their WWE seems to be high on Moose, but Moose is just like a teaming version of Bobby Lashley.
No, he actually more of what's his face? What's his dude who was the ambassador? What was his name?
Tyson O'Neil. Titus O'Neil.
Yeah, when I see him, Titus. I think of Tyson O'Neil. I don't know.
Titus.
Yeah. You know, I don't know. He comes in, he could be a powerhouse too. Listen, what makes me laugh is that, you know, you're gonna sign these new guys to come in and there. You got Braun Strowman that you could give you could have kept and give him a good storyline. You got all these guys you released to bring in these new guys to do the same thing that you had with these old guys over there that had storyline that people did like. So, you know, maybe 2026 we'll be surprised. After the Royal Rumble, we'll see a lot go on. Like, I'm calling the shots. Braun Breaker wins the Royal Rumble. Randy Orton wins the Elimination Chamber. If he's
Who do you think wins the Women's Royal Rumble?
Who do I think wins the Women's Royal Rumble? I think the Women's Royal Rumble is going to be Roxanne Perez. Roxanne Perez came in second place last year when she came up. But they give it to Liv Morgan. I think Liv Morgan gets it because Liv Morgan. But I would say to make more tension for the bloodline, you have Roxanne Perez win it, and then Raquel will be pissed off because Roxanne won it because Raquel right now is going after the belt. You know. So, but most likely, if you're a betting man, Liv. You know, gets it.
Who do you think Liv goes after? Do you think she goes after Jade, or do you think she go after Stephanie?
I think she goes after Stephanie.
Better question: who wins the Women's Elimination Chamber?
Who wins the women's? Okay, that. You know what's funny? I actually think. I think Raquel, even though she's going for the belt now, I think she wins the Elimination Chamber, and then you have Liv winning the Royal Rumble, which would be very interesting.
I think Styx nailed it on the head.
What?
Bianca
Belair?
Bianca. You hope that she's back and ready for the
Royal Rumble. Yeah, she can come back. Bianca Belair, but a lot of insiders are saying Liv Morgan, you know, this and that. But Bianca Belair can automatically. She could probably win the Elimination Chamber if she's back for the Elimination Chamber, because then she's going to go after definitely go after Jay Cargill. That they've been wanting Jay Cargill and her WrestleMania. That's basically what they want. It was like the Rhea Ripley against Bianca Belair. That was that they missed the mark on that too.
You don't think that? I mean, you don't think that maybe with how high the crowd is on Sol Ruca, WWE might strap a rocket ship to Sol Ruca's ass and have her win the Royal Rumble and have her be in the main event of WrestleMania?
A rookie come up and win. Hey, that would change the landscape, have a rookie win. But I totally doubt it. But you know what? You never know. Like I said, creative can say, you know what? Sol Ruca is great. We've seen her wrestle. I think she's can be great. But I see Sol Ruca going after more of the mid card, the Intercontinental Championship, the U.S. Championship. That's more her thing right now.
She kind of did that in NXT, where she went after the North America, where she was a North America champion. That's kind of their mid card. You don't want to see her take that natural progression on the main roster and shoot for the stars.
But all kidding aside, when have you seen a rookie like that shoot up and win? It's Stephanie Vakir.
John Cena.
Yeah, John Cena, but John Cena didn't win the championship.
Stephanie Vakir.
Yeah, but I think you progress more. Look, Stephanie Vakir was on a road, on a track to win the championship. It was all right. Sol Ruca, yes, but you got to build up these mid cards, and you need these wrestlers to build up these mid cards to really, really. You know what? The thing that sucks the most here, Stephanie Vakir loses the belt, right? And she goes after the championship belt, can't win it, this and that. Now you drop her back to win the Intercontinental Championship. Kind of a downgrade. But you want to make her. Everybody becomes a Grand Slam champion when it comes to wrestling now. So that's the whole thing. I can see her becoming a Grand Slam champion faster than any woman I know in the roster. Eventually, you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. I want to see Stephanie Vakir and Julia become a tag team to win tag team gold down the road, when give or take in the next couple of years. To see that, have the two bright stars that you signed, that you wanted to sign, be tag team championship, and I think the crowd would embrace them more being tag team championships and have them becoming friends again, like they were when they were in freaking NXT. Because when they were in NXT and they were friends before Julia freaking goddamn betrayed Stephanie, but the whole fact is that when they were working together and friends, I think the crowd was really up for that. So down the road, I can see that happening. But Sol Ruca, Jordynne Grace. Look, you're going to have a squash match. Jordynne Grace going after freaking the belt. But that's going to be later on. I see what they should do is you get the Bianca Belairs, the freaking goddamn Rhea Ripley's. The freaking, you have Tiffany time. Tiffany Stratton's coming back. She's going to probably go after freaking goddamn Jay Cargill. You know, she could win the Royal Rumble. You know, you don't know. So you want to okay, you get your stars that are going top tier, but you need that star power for the mid cards to make the mid cards irrelevant. That means something. But we'll see. Yeah, we got less than like 3 weeks for Royal Rumble. When is the Elimination Chamber?
Elimination Chamber is in February.
Yeah. So you got Saturday Night Main Event the week before Royal Rumble. And Royal Rumble is going to probably be on 8 o'clock at night, 8 o'clock in the morning, because it's live.
No, it's I want to say it's in the afternoon.
12 o'clock.
Something like it might even be later. I think it's
2 o'clock. I think two.
Last I saw it was going to start at like 10 o'clock p.m. Saudi time. Like it was going to start at 10 p.m. in Saudi.
Okay.
I can double check that really quick though. But I think Sticks and I were talking about that. Start time. Royal Rumble is going to January 31st from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, with a start time of 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. General GMT, and that's like what, 10 p.m. Saudi time?
Probably.
Yeah.
So,
which is crazy for them.
Oh, super crazy, insane. But I wonder, almost it kind of looks like that venue they're building from the photos you see online, whether you want to believe it or not, is might be an open air venue.
It's an open air stadium.
So I wonder if they're doing it that late at night because of the heat.
Probably because it's gonna be outside.
No, that's not a bad thought. I mean, there's other things there besides the heat that you have to worry about at night, but yeah, I agree. I mean, and then this week, let's just keep it current. This week's going to be at 2 p.m. for Raw this week, and when they're in, where are they? Huppenbergen? What's the name of? Where are they at?
They're in Germany.
Yeah, Germany.
So we're getting AJ Styles versus Gunther in Germany.
Hooray.
I don't know, but Dom, what are the Dirty Dom dirt sheets
Dirty Dom dirt sheets
talking about this week?
So apparently, like I said earlier, Dom Mysterio is not injured what they thought he was. A few weeks rest, he'll be back for the Royal Rumble. Also, they're talking about like the call-ups were the big thing that was moving forward. That the call-ups of SmackDown and Raw. Also, there's a couple of reports. Devon Ray with Jim Ross, allegations of racism that was going on with them, this and that, and it's more irrelevant, which is kind of crazy. The story, that's sad. Like I said, you don't want none of that. Wrestling. You want the fun in wrestling. It's so stupid. We have to have stuff like that go on. Other than that, Joe Hendry. That's another guy that probably be a SmackDown contender. Say his name. Stick's favorite guy.
Stick kind of looks like him. Stick kind of looks like an older Joe Hendry.
Exactly. You gotta get a mustache, make it brown.
Color the beard a little bit.
Color the beard, and then keep your white hair, your platinum hair.
Get a little just for men.
So I actually think that SmackDown is going to get the better of the call-ups because they have to build that show. It's going to be 3 hours. Oh, the SmackDown, they talked about SmackDown not being 3 hours all the time. They said it's just for the time being. Like last year, it was 6 months, and then they dropped it. They might do the same thing, make SmackDown 6 months, 3 hours, and then drop it back down to 2. You know, they're talking about that.
Like a rolling blackout.
Yeah. And really, Nikki Bella with this dude from freaking the Eagles is definitely the real thing.
Cooper DeJean.
Go figure. You got a kid that probably watched wrestling.
That he probably spanks the ham to Nikki Bella multiple times.
He probably did, and now he's really spanking the hand, which is kind of crazy, man. You know, like I have to have kudos to that kid, man. You know, hey, he's a star. He's an NFL player. He's making mucho bucks. He gets to hang out with the elite, and that's why things happen. But that was confirmed that they are definitely there because she came out with the Eagle colors. You know, when she a couple of weeks ago when she was on Raw. Yeah. So, but anyway, other than that, I'm trying to think of more dirt sheets of stuff that came out. More news that we heard. CM Punk had an interview and he was talking about Jey Uso, saying that you don't understand why the crowd, the people don't like Jey Uso. He's a phenomenal wrestler. He's a merchandising genius with Yeet and stuff like that. And he goes, and he just doesn't understand what fans want. That fans get mad, you know, oh, he's lousy, this and that. He goes, what are they watching that I'm seeing? Because obviously they're not watching the same thing that we're watching.
I think with Jey Uso, it's the Roman Reigns effect. He was kind of just forced fed to us.
Yeah.
And WWE force fed him to us for real no reason. And because the crowd got behind him with the Yeet and the underdog, and I love that. But once WWE started like ripping your mouth open and fucking just shoving Jey Uso down your throat, people kind of started turning on him.
Yeah.
So I don't really think it has anything to do with Jey Uso because they're like, oh, well, he's only got the 5 moves of doom, blah blah blah. Well, no, he's got more than just 5 moves of doom.
Yeah.
But it's just I think when it comes to Jey Uso, it's really just the being force fed. Jey Uso.
I actually think they'll make him a tag team with Jimmy for a minute, and then he'll turn on Jimmy, or Jimmy will turn on him, and then you'll have them going after each other. You know,
I don't know.
So we'll see what happens. You know, hey, you know what? I wouldn't be surprised. You know, kind of cool. You maybe have Jay become like Roman, and he builds his own bloodline faction down the road. You know. Because there's still hundreds of freaking goddamn cousins and relatives that they have, you know. And by the time it happens, Jimmy's kid is gonna be part of the faction. You're gonna have freaking Jay's kid part of the faction, you know. But you do that. Other than that, I don't think there's any more news. New stuff to really push out there, unless you found anything, Matt, that I missed.
No. I think that's pretty much it. There's not a lot of news other than, like you said, the call-ups that are really hitting home in WWE.
Yeah.
We're getting a lot of like everybody in WWE seems to have a podcast now.
Yeah, everybody, man. And I'm looking at the podcast, and it's like the guy got like 10,000 views, like 10,000 followers, or 20,000 followers, and like each video that he did has like 8,000 views. And like, but who are you? I've never seen you before. How you have that many views?
It's interesting that to me too that Netflix is now the official U.S. home for the WWE content library, but yet not pay-per-views. Like it's interesting that we're still going to ESPN.
You know, it's kind of funny. Where is the Royal Rumble playing? It's going to be on ESPN, Royal Rumble, right?
Yeah, the Royal Rumble will be on ESPN.
Yep. Okay.
Yep.
So,
which all of a sudden, like the push for that ESPN app seems to have died completely. Like,
yeah. So I don't know. It's kind of interesting. I don't know. And I've been watching ESPN. They haven't been showing wrestling on it. Like I don't know if I've been missing the wrestling segments on ESPN, but there hasn't been like any wrestling segments. Like I haven't seen like they usually they'll show the Monday Night Raw.
McAfee's the only one who mentioned it.
I know, but they would show that the freaking the results of Monday Night Raw on what happened, but they didn't show. Like I've seen there was so many botches in that freaking show.
I personally, I don't think they care. I don't think they care enough to put it in there.
Stone Cold was on Chris Van Vliet this week, and it was a very interesting interview, very eye-opening interview between Stone Cold Steve Austin and Chris Van Vliet.
Was it me or he was talking slow, like he can't like talk? Like the way he was talking, I don't know if it was me, but the way he sounded like he gave up beer. He said he gave up beer, but the whole fact is that
did he?
I was watching that, and I was like, that's Stone Cold. Did he get that old like that right away? He's 62, 63, right? How old Stone Cold?
Something like that. 58.
We saw 60, Hiroshi Tanahashi retire from professional wrestling.
Yep.
At on January 4th at New Japan Wrestle Kingdom 20.
Yep. And also they said the Bullet Club
is no more. Yeah.
They said it's back. They have it's not dead yet. So I don't know, I was watching that.
But that's pretty much it as far as like the rumors for the professional wrestling go. It's basically this who's getting called up from NXT because it seems like they are really pushing a lot of talent up. Lola Vice is being talked about now. Like we said, Sol Ruka, Jordynne Grace, we know has already come out. Blake Monroe's been mentioned. JC Jane's been mentioned. They're talking about Oba. Well, we know Oba Femi's coming up because
I want him to come to Raw. I think he'll do great on Raw.
He's had some vignettes. Javon Evans is on Raw. You have Matt Cardona back. You're getting Trick Williams on SmackDown. I'm interested to see what more call-ups come tomorrow night on the European tour. It should be a fun show. It just, like I said, it just stinks that we were off for 2 weeks. And we didn't come back to a just barrage of, oh man, this is what we were talking about. Professional wrestling. We got more of the same. Like we came back from taped shows to more of the same. And I hope that changes. This is our first live show of 2026 here for Raw. Hopefully, well, technically SmackDown last week was, but this is our first Raw of 2026. Hopefully it only goes up from here and we get more great professional wrestling. But we're going to make some changes on this show because I'm sure you guys listening to us are tired of us complaining about the same thing week after week after week. So we're going to go back to trying to segment it a little bit. Give us little rapid fire segments to kind of keep us on track, keep you entertained, and keep our thoughts, I think, a little bit tighter. And maybe Sticks will finally be able to get a word in edgewise between me and Dom every week. So he's not just sitting there glitching out, looking beautiful in the background. But with that being said, any other topics you guys want to touch on tonight before we call it a night?
Yeah, Cosmic Dom versus Bruce can't wait.
There you go, Cosmic. But yeah, anything else you guys want to talk about before we call it a night?
No, the only thing is the con season is beginning, so you'll probably get more wrestlers showing up at the cons, and maybe could try to get some feedback. Hopefully I could run into Karrion Kross again and maybe talk to them again to try to see about coming on the show. Get somebody on the show.
Speaking of cons, it was just announced this week that the Big Show will be at Niagara Falls Comic Con this year.
Nice. Okay.
So, and a couple other wrestlers I think they announced too. Big Show is kind of a big get, if you ask me. If you don't pardon the bun.
Hopefully in 2026 we could actually get our first professional wrestler on. with us and talk. Hopefully, keep our fingers crossed. Like I said, we have the con season on the way, and me and Matt definitely going to be in San Diego this year, so we'll be in San Diego. It should be an interesting year. We got a lot to look forward to this year in the entertainment field outside wrestling. So we'll see what happens. But my plan is to see if I can get somebody to come on. And hopefully,
Karrion Kross, come on, Dom, wearing the sweatpants for you.
I've got an iron in that fire as well, Dom. So
tell Marco use some of his money to get The Rock.
I actually think The Rock will retire this year. I think The Rock is going to be calling it quits from wrestling this year too. I think
next year, Saudi Arabia, WrestleMania.
Yeah,
because they're going to throw a fucking truckload of money at him.
So let me ask you a question: do you have freaking goddamn Gunther freaking retire him too?
No, not The Rock. Roman Reigns is the only one. That's the only unfinished business Rock has is Roman Reigns.
Yeah,
that's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, true.
If we don't get Rock Roman next year, who cares?
Yeah,
I mean, honestly, if we do get Rock Roman next year, who cares?
Exactly, they missed the market.
That might be the only time, the very last time, you see John Cena at WrestleMania, if the Saudis have their way.
No, I think John's got too much.
Hall of Fame. We think the Hall of Fame next year for John Cena?
No, I think John's got too much. He's got too much self-respect to sell out for money. I think because Tony Khan could probably throw a boatload of money at him too to come to AEW, but I don't think it's gonna happen, man. I'm gonna be the optimist on this.
Yeah, but that's different.
Say that Cena will stick to his word as far as that goes.
Yeah.
You know what? A lot of people outside the thing said that Cena he says something, that's it. Cena's not coming back, and that's been told. A lot of wrestlers have said that Cena is done with wrestling. He'll make appearances, not wrestle. He's not going to wrestle anymore. He'll make appearances on shows.
Well, I'm not saying wrestle. I'm not saying wrestle. But
look, he's going to be like. Apparently, they were talking about
he's a company man. He's a WWE company man.
He's a company man, but he's got bigger, better things. He's got the Peacemaker. He's got the Peacemaker. He got a lot of other movies.
Absolutely.
So apparently,
got a lot going for him.
There's a CM Punk John Cena movie that they've been talking about that are going to be in a movie. So you might see John Cena and CM Punk doing a movie. CM Punk is starting to do some movies now. He's on TV. He's got a vampire movie coming up.
He's in
CM
Zootopia
Punk versus the
Evil
Man.
Yeah, Zootopia. Him and Roman Reigns voice two zebra guys.
The Zebros.
Yeah. Zebros.
He's got a horror movie coming out too, where he plays a cop.
The vampire movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then they discussing the movie with him and John Cena. So we'll see. Like I said. Slowly but surely, a lot of the wrestlers will definitely be making their Hollywood and movie debut, or just be in movies and slowly part time. Like, look, we don't CM Punk is 46 years old. How much longer is he going to go? You got Randy Orton, who's in his 40s. You got Seth Rollins in his 40s now, 39 or wherever So eventually, Cody Rhodes is eventually going to start to call it quits. So in the next 5 years, we're gonna have a lot of people retiring and leaving the biz in the next couple of years. So the next 5 years, we really think about it. So, and all these newcomers would be the ones that we'd be talking about down the road. So we'll see. I think that's it, Matt. I think that's we had a good discussion, airing out our grievances, and it's unfortunate that. What we're expecting, they're doing the same thing. But hopefully, like I said, the year just beginning, and hopefully we get some turning points, change in events, and Triple H.
A new era. It's a new era.
A new era. We'll see. Like I said, I think things will start happening after Royal Rumble. I think the Royal Rumble is going to be.
Hope springs eternal, right? Hope springs eternal.
Yeah. Hey, look, I would not be surprised. Saturday night main event. We get Slater and Yvonne Evans versus the Usos. for Saturday Night Main Event.
I would love to see that. That's
I would too.
Call right there.
I think that'd be a great match.
Yeah,
I think because they have the relationship with TNA, so I think we see that again. We see them fight again. And you know what? How about have the Usos versus the Hardys? That would be a pretty good match. Have them show up, because Saturday Night Main Event is more for showcasing different talent and stuff like that. It's not really. You guys may have some part of the storyline with other aspects, but
a little bit.
I would definitely be very interested in seeing the Usos versus the Hardys, or the Usos versus Devon Evans and Slater. I think that would be a good call if they did that.
Saturday Night Main Event, where WWE goes to botch retirements. That's what Saturday Night Main Event is.
Yeah.
But,
wow.
All right. I think that's a good to end this week's show on. Thank you guys for watching your new Wrestling Obsession Off the Mat. We missed you guys in the last 2 weeks we had off. We are ready to fire on all cylinders and carry this bad boy all the way through 2026. Like I said, we're going to look at reformatting the show a little bit, adding a little bit more structure back to it, just so it's a little bit more entertainment and less ranting about the same redundant crap week after week after week. And hopefully, get some interviews as well. Get some other professional wrestlers on here and some fun people to talk to. But that's it for this week's episode of Off the Mat. Thank you all so much for watching. If you want more from Sticks to Dom, well, you can just roll on down to the featured channel section, click that Run Division tab, and check them out tomorrow night over on the Qualified. You can check me and Sticks out on Saturday night right here on this channel, as well as Sticks' channel for our Saturday night special. You can also catch Dom every Sunday night on Run Division on the Star Wars show. You can catch Sticks on his channel every Tuesday night for his Doctor Who Rewind. And of course, you can catch the three of us just absolutely gushing good, bad, or indifferent about the professional wrestling world right here every Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern on Off the Mat. Thank you so much for checking us out. Dom, start 2026 right and take us out with some solid words of wisdom.
First of all, Happy New Year to everyone out there. I hope 2026 has been the start of something new. Our resolutions, we look at every year when it begins, a new you. I'm going to eat better. I'm going to work out more. I'm going to love people more. I'm going to be a better person. Just do that every day in your life. It doesn't have to be a brand new year, a brand new you. Just be you throughout the year. And there is no starting point where you should start the beginning of the year. I'm gonna work out. Just work out. Go work out, train, eat good. If you want more coffee, go out and you buy more coffee. If you wanna find the woman in your dreams, go do your thing. You don't need the beginning of the year to start something new. It could be out throughout the entire year. And that being said, I'm happy to be happy we're back. Happy to see you guys. We can talk some wrestling and we can just shoot the breeze and enjoy this new year, and be safe and just be happy.
Dom's New Year's resolution is that he is going to stop giving small children the finger on the subway. Good night.
In the ring, the lights go down. Roaring crowd, they scream and shout. Chants echo, shaking the ground. Warriors clash, the game is found. Welcome to